During the Buddha's time, while he was residing in Savatthi, the residents of an entire street came together and invited the Buddha and many bhikkhus to receive alms. The inhabitants prepared rice gruel followed by sweet cakes as offerings. Knowing the offerings were for the Exalted One and his bhikkhu disciples, everyone prepared everything to the best of their abilities. They bought the best ingredients that they could find and cooked and made everything themselves, paying attention to every detail as they worked. They understood the Buddha's teachings of Kamma, that what you put in determines what you receive in turn. On that same street lived a poor laborer. He was so poor that he could not even buy the ingredients to make rice gruel. He had just enough to make some sweet cakes, and so he resolved that he would spend everything he had to make cakes for the Buddha. He reasoned that he was poor because in the past, he must have neglected giving to others. He resolved to not let this precious opportunity pass him by. There is no one more worthy of gifts than the Buddha and his Sangha. He scraped out the red powder from the empty husks and kneaded it with water into a round cake. He then wrapped the cake in a leaf and baked it in the embers. When it was done, he made up his mind that he would offer his cake to the Buddha and to the Buddha only. He got in line and waited patiently and excitedly for his turn. As he waited, his mind leapt back and forth between two things. Firstly, he kept thinking about how lucky he was. A Buddha being born into the world is a rare occurrence. Being born at the same time as a Buddha is an even rarer occurrence. Being born at the same time as the Buddha and then having the opportunity to meet him, give dana to him, listen to him, and venerate him is rarer still. Thinking this way made him excited and ecstatic. However, he also started thinking about how his meager offering compared to those of other people. He thought about how he was poor and was not able to provide an offering of high or even mediocre quality. He thought about how people would talk about him when they saw his offering. Thinking this way made him feel small and worthless. The poor laborer found his way in front of the Buddha and waited patiently. When the announcement was given that it was time to offer cakes, the laborer stepped forward quicker than everyone else and put his cake in the great being's bowl. The Buddha then declined all further cake and ate the poor man's offering. Everyone began talking about how the exalted Buddha had not disdained the poor man's cake. The people talked about how lucky the laborer was and how he must have earned magnitudes of merit. People of all classes flocked to the spot, saluted the master, and crowded the poor man. They offered him food, money, and various expensive things for him to share his merit with them. The poor laborer was overwhelmed and decided to consult the Buddha. The Buddha told him, "Take what they offer and live righteously as an example to all living creatures." The man then set to work collecting all the offerings. He collected over 9 crores of gold in total. After the Buddha gave his thanks for the hospitality and returned to the monastery, the king sent for the poor man and appointed him as Lord Treasurer. Later, when the monks were assembled in the Hall of Truth, they spoke of how the Buddha did not disdain the poor man's cake. as well as how the man's merit led him to becoming wealthy and being appointed as Lord Treasurer. When the Buddha entered the hall and heard what they were talking about, he said, "Bhikkhus, this is not the first time that I have not refused to eat that poor man's cake. I did so in the past when I was a tree deva, and even then, I was the means of him being made Lord Treasurer." Upon the request of the bhikkhus, the Buddha told this story of the past. A long time ago, when Brahmadatta was reigning in Benares, the Bodhisattva was born as a tree deva dwelling in a castor oil plant. The villagers of those days were superstitious about the gods. A festival came around, and the villagers offered sacrifices to their respective tree devas. A poor man wanted good luck and chose to make an offering to the tree deva. He observed everyone making offerings with garlands, perfumes, cakes, and expensive sweets. However, all he had was a cake made from husk powder and water in a coconut shell. He stood before the tree and considered how the tree deva was unlikely to receive and eat his offering. He thought, "Tree devas are used to heavenly food, so why would this tree deva eat this cake of husk powder? If I offer it and the deva doesn't eat it, I'm out of cake. I might as well eat it myself." He began to turn away. The value of an offering is not based on how expensive it is, nor is it based on whether other people think it is valuable or not valuable. It is not based on how it tastes. The value of an offering is based on the value it holds in the heart of the giver. The value of an offering is based on how the giver feels while giving. The value of an offering is based on how the giver feels after giving. The value of an offering is based on how the giver thinks about the gift when he reflects upon it. I do not look down upon your gift. The poor man rejoiced at the deva's words and offered his sacrifice. The tree deva fed on the offering and said, "Why do you come to worship me?" "I'm a poor man, and I worship you in hopes of easing my poverty." "Worry no further. I will help you. You have made a sacrifice to one who is grateful and mindful of kind deeds. Behind this tree there are many pots of buried treasure. Go alert the king and have him take the treasure away in wagons. There, pile it up in a heap, and the king will appoint you as Lord Treasurer." The poor man did as he was instructed, and the king made him Lord Treasurer. The Buddha then ended the story and said, "The poor man of those times is the same poor laborer who offered me a cake. The tree deva of those times was I." What did you learn from this story? Let us know in the comments. We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads. And consider making a donation to support our Buddhist animation project.